Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 1. This is the other game being played in the Showdown in St. Louis 2015. They're playing Basque chess. It's a region in Spain, I guess, where this came from, the idea. And what you do is you play 2 games at the same time against the same opponent. One side black, one side white. And there's 2 clocks, one on each board. And the clocks are live. And they each get an hour and a half. I believe there's a small delay. So you've got to be mindful. And a lot of times during the game, you could be thinking on one board, and your clock is ticking on the other one, and your clock is ticking on the one you're thinking on. So you got to be really mindful of time. Anyway, this is between, let me see if I can butcher this name, Yifan-Rd.1 from India, goes to Stanford University here in the States. Negi against YiFan. YiFan, of course, we all know, highest rated woman in the world and former women's world champion. Negi is white, YiFan is black. Let's get to it. It's going to be a Sicilian accelerated dragon. I'm going to breeze through the opening here. We've all seen it a lot of times. I don't cover openings that much on my videos, so let's get to it. H4. Typical stuff. You'll see this a lot. When you want to storm your kingside pawns against the castle position in the Sicilian. Instead of H4 though, knight takes is interesting. And after D takes, that's the computer's other suggestion. I kind of like H4 because it's a lot more fun. Queen A5, pinning the knight. And now he goes H5. Knight takes H5, knight takes E4. Honestly, knight takes H5, the computer likes pretty close to knight takes E4. YiFan, of course, highest woman rated player ever in the world, made the right choice, I think. Put the pressure on the knight on C3, so you can see the knight is pinned against the queen. H takes, H takes. Queen F3, D5. Okay. Looks pretty good. Typical Sicilian stuff. White hasn't castled yet, though, which is unusual. For right now, anyway, this bishop is pretty much biting on granite. When this bishop eventually gets out, this pawn comes up. That bishop is going to be worth much. Bishop takes. That gives a scope for the bishop. Bishop G4, hitting the queen. Queen moves. Rook A D8. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse. I've had a cough for a few days and my throat's a little hoarse. Knight takes. Pawn takes. Now this is a very creative move. Computer likes F3 or king to F1. Frankly, I don't like either of those. Of course, you can all see why white cannot castle. Because you can't castle through check. We just go rook to H4, which is the third choice in the computer, and I think it's a very creative move on Negi's part. Bishop H5. You'll find out later that bishop has no business being on H5. Ends up being miserable over there. Miserable. Computer likes knight to E4. After queen takes bishop, knight takes, queen to C4, you don't take back. Give you an idea of after bishop H5, we go knight to E4 instead. After queen takes, knight takes. You don't take back right away. You play queen to C4 is the correct move. Because, of course, you can see that after pawn takes, queen takes check, and the rook is doomed. So is white's king. Bishop H5. Rook swings over. Pretty interesting. Queen F5 by YiFan. You can just tell she's uncomfortable here. You can tell by the look on her face. I watched it. If you want to go on YouTube to the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis, they have the whole 3+ hours of both games at the same time with commentary from Maurice Ashley, Jennifer Shahadi, and Yasser Sarawan. Let's take a look here. Let's pause. We're on move 18. What would you do? How do you firm things up here? White's king's in a bad spot. Can't castle. Bishop's bearing down on the position here. Rook's bearing down. Even though it's a small advantage on the computer for White, White's feeling pressure. So he decides to go f3 just to relieve that pressure from the bishop. I think he's looking at an escape square maybe for his king. Plus, d4 square is covered for anything else. e6. Black's pretty cramped here. Queen f2. Knight d5. She's trying to open it up a little bit. When you're cramped like that, it's a horrible feeling while you're playing. Now, is it worth giving up your dark squared bishop just to double these pawns? I think not. Because what will happen is we'll give White the bishop pair, and this dark squared bishop will be the king of the board. Knight takes, pawn takes. White didn't want to give up the dark squared bishop. Give you an idea. After knight takes, if c had taken, c3, d4, c takes. And black is doomed. Absolutely doomed. After e takes, finally he gets the castle. And that was the thing. Take with the c pawn, you win. You take with the e pawn, White gets the castle. So White's king is breathing a lot easier now. d4. Bishop comes back. g5. Excellent move there. Excellent move. I remember watching the commentary. If you go to the Chess Club, the Scholastic Center of St. Louis YouTube channel, you'll see the whole 3+ hours of both of these games. The other one was Karo Nakamura and Fabiano Caruana. You'll see it in its entirety with commentators. That was an outstanding move. Queen f6 was the second choice, just to block off that bishop. Start getting those pawns down there. Of course, the threat now, as you can see, is pawn here because pawn can't take because the queen's unguarded. g4. Everything, well, that loses a piece, right? No. Bishop takes. Rook takes. And this is where I think YiFan stumbles. She wasn't in severe time pressure, but remember, they're playing 2 games at the same time. And the other game was a difficult game for her as well. Rook f8. She's just going to put the rook back. This is horrible now. Absolutely horrible. We'll go through the rest of the game. Rook. Queen takes. Queen takes. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. Just horrible. Rook over. Bishop f6. Can't take as a pin on the bishop. Rook checks. Now you're down the exchange. It just goes from bad to worse. Rook to f1. Bishop g5. Check. Saves the piece, but it's still doomed. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. a4. Look at this mess. Black has no chance. Bishop f3. Rook d7. a5. Or excuse me, f5, and then a5 by White. And that's where YiFan said that's enough. She resigned. I'll give you an idea. After f4, a6, and there's nothing really Black can do here. Absolutely stymied. We'll have to say the other game I'm not going to show here with the same players, but YiFan was White and Negi was Black. She lost that game as well. So the young man from India going to Stanford University here in the States won both games off the former women's world champion. Not an easy feat. Anyway, folks, that's the other game I thought was worth mentioning and showing from round 1 in the showdown in St. Louis. I hope you enjoyed it. I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.